Don't complain after bribing. That's from FPRO. On jurisdiction, FRSC unauthorized to stop vehicles on township roads. That's from Omole. These are the issues we'll be looking at today. When we return from this short break, I will introduce my guests for today's show. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. Remember, you can join us on all our media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. And joining me in this conversation this afternoon is a public affairs analyst. I'm talking about Isaac Botti. It's amazing having you in the studio this afternoon.
It's a pleasure. Good afternoon.
I think I should say Happy New Year to you. And how have you been?
Yeah, we've not seen this year.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, let's look at the first story for today. Enugu state government has warned butchers and poultry farmers to stop selling animals and chicken that dies under mysterious circumstances. The warning issued by the Commissioner for Health and Agriculture follows public complaints about meat from animals with diseases. The government has initiated investigations and warned of serious health risks associated with consuming such meat. The public is urged to report suspicious activities through designated hotlines 0803 717 8703, 0806 686 5511, 0803 743 1577, 0803 337 5344. Now, these are the numbers that, if you're staying in Enugu State precisely, these are the numbers to reach out if you notice any of these activities. Yes, they have come saying that, they're saying that most of these meats are associated with health risks. Now, Mr. Botti, what do you think about butchers and poultry farmers selling out animals that are already dead, according to them, under mysterious circumstances? What do you think about that?
I think it's appalling for any vendor or butcher to sell animals that died under mysterious circumstances. The concern that most of the zoonotic diseases that affect animals, maybe birds, the likes, have capacity to create severe health crisis or danger on humans who consume such animals. So it is totally wrong.
Okay. So do you think that this has any link with the current economic hardship?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay.
So I was
So
asking.
I was saying that.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
I was asking, do you think that this has any link with the current economic hardship? Because some persons would be like, okay, since we cannot afford the live animals, and then let's go for this one. And of course, we know that majority do not know about this. And that's what I'm asking. Do you think that this have any link with the current economic hardship in the country?
Well, somehow it could, but however, no matter how bad the economic situation is, lives of the people should not further be endangered, either by those consuming it, they are endangering their own lives, and for those selling it, they are endangering the lives of the people. So that the economy is hard is not a yardstick for anyone to sell or consume dead animals that you do not know what disease or diseases kill them, and thereby endangering your life. So for me, I think.
Are you there? We will just go on a very short break.
What you are presenting out for people to buy actually meet certain standards. There are certain standards that should not be compromised, and that is what we should prioritize: life before profit, life before any other thing. So if economy is it shouldn't be of that point that because there is action in land, the people can consume dead animals because they feel they are cheaper to get. It is not compulsory to eat such if you don't have the means.
Okay, so Mr. Botti, who do you think is to be blamed here? Is it the person that sold the dead animal, or is it the buyer? Because of course, before a butcher goes to buy this, they definitely know that this animal is not alive, and they still go ahead to get it. And then also looking at the price of animals, the rearing animals, like to take care of these animals these days is very expensive. Don't you think that also looking at the fact that they can't put such amount in rearing this stuff and then they would just throw it away? Because the idea is, as long as animal is dead, you don't have to eat it and you don't have to sell it. Asking, Who is really to be blamed in this kind of situation? Is it the owner of the animal that knows that the animal is dead and decides to sell it? Or is it the butcher that is very much aware that this animal is not alive and decided to buy? So who is to be blamed in this case?
Well, in terms of who is to be blamed, everybody involved is to be blamed. The buyer is to be blamed, except he doesn't know, but there are people who know and still continue to patronize such. And then, more importantly, is the seller who deliberately puts up.
All right, this is not just for Enugu State residents. We will say that this is also for this is for everyone. It's not just for Enugu State residents. The ideal thing here, the warning we have gotten, even though it's from Enugu State, is don't eat dead animal and don't sell it. If you don't have money to get animal that you know is still alive, and then go for something, go for alternative, because there is serious health issues that is attached to that. And then the next story for today is from Oyo State. On Monday, the Oyo State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency donated motorcycles, public address systems, and sanitary items to 10 local government areas to combat open defecation. This initiative, part of the Chairman Babalola Afogbaje's 10 days mark, includes 10 Abuja speakers, 6 motorcycles, and various sanitary items. Afogbaje highlighted support from UNICEF and ongoing efforts such as solar borehole draining. The chairman urged for timely distribution of the items and praised Governor Seyi Makinde for supporting international partnerships. Local government leaders, including Egbeda's chairman Siriki Sanda, thanked Ruwasa and committed to using the item as intended. All right, this is from Oyo State, and we could recall that the UN once came up with the idea that Nigerians are #1 on that map, that they are #1 in the open defecation practices. And here, Oyo State have come up with an initiative donating motorcycles and sanitary parts. But we know that a lot of persons engage in open defecation because some of them do not have access to toilets, or it could be as a societal norms. So donating motorcycles to stop open defecation, donating other sanitaries like, of course, you know what we are talking about, to stop open defecation. How is that going to stop open defecation when we do not have toilets, restrooms built around the communities? Mr. Bode, what do you think about this?
Well, I think one thing is governments need to prioritize its intervention. The fact remains that, sorry, I don't know, my voice is getting back to me, I don't know.
I can hear you.
Okay. When government is intervening in this kind of issue, what the government needs to do is to look at what actually worked and what actually address the challenge or the concern they are trying to address. Donating motorcycles, donating other sanitary materials will not stop open defecation. What will stop open defecation is if the government, particularly local government, can ensure that there are toilets, public toilets in strategic locations across the major cities and towns. It will help. You know, this defecation is a call, is a call of the nature, and it doesn't give notice sometimes.
This is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. A return after the short break. Welcome back. Before we went on a short break, we were looking at a story from Oyo State where the government has donated motorcycles and also other sanitary materials to the residents, about 10 communities, that's local government areas, to combat open defecation. And according to them, that UN actually partnered with them, and the governor of Oyo State also supported. And I'm wondering, now looking at open defecation, we know that a lot of persons are engaged in this as the result of maybe lack of access to toilets or even cultural practices and habits. And they are telling us that they donated motorcycles. Mr. Botti, I'm asking, how is motorcycle going to combat open defecation? And how our other materials, other sanitary materials, how would they combat this? Is it possible? Remember that UN said that Nigerians are one of the top, at the #1 on the chart when it comes to defecation practices. So how are they going to combat this with motorcycles? Public, the speakers. How is that going to happen? Please take a look at this story again.
It's actually funny when government should know better is actually engaged in this kind of because the question is truly, how can donating motorcycles, speakers, and other sanitary parts address issue of open defecation? Of course, you have actually mentioned the factors, some of the factors that influence open defecation in our society. Number one, which is more paramount, is lack of access to public toilets. Lack of access to public toilets. And then this can also be further aggravated by cultural practices. And you see, when we say cultural practices, some of these things become norms because we do not have access to alternative or options to addressing the challenge. So if there are public toilets in from street to street, in communities, at the is cultural to defecate in open places. There's nothing cultural about that. It is about lack of access to these amenities, particularly public toilets. So when government is to address this kind of challenge, the intervention should be tailored towards addressing the fundamental issue, and which is the intervention should provide adequate, sufficient access to public toilets. Public toilets that are usable, not the ones that people cannot enter, not the ones that are not maintained. Toilets that are usable. And these are the roles and the functions of the local government authorities. If it is where local government is functioning optimally, it is the duty of the local government authority to ensure that this issue of open defecation is addressed by building public toilets, maintaining, not just building, also maintaining the toilet such that it is accessible to people. And also, the local government can put in place a policy or even a law to penalize such, to say that because we have put in place this facility, anyone found not using them or defecating in open places should be prosecuted. And you will see that this attitude will stop. And that is why I said there's nothing, it is about attitude. It is about access, lack of access to basic amenities that can help address their concerns. And that is what the government should prioritize, not what will motorcycle do. Do they want to use motorcycle to start parking faces on the streets or what? No. And if it is about reorientation, it is still part of it to find a way to sensitize the people, the community, on issues of open defecation. But if you are sensitizing them and you have not provided an alternative, a means through which they can address that challenge, then your sensitization is a waste. So there's need to have public toilets in every road, in every street, in strategic locations that people can easily access.
All right, thank you. And then the next story is still from Oyo State. Oyo State, a man named Alpha Ahmad allegedly killed his grandfather and uncle for money ritual. The attack occurred in Akpete Ido local government area, with the grandfather being visually impaired and the uncle in poor condition. The police have confirmed the incident and are investigating the updates to follow. This is disheartening. It's a serious problem in our society, the level at which youth are so eager to be wealthy, to have money today. And you know that a lot of them are engaged in different dubious activities that are not criminal acts. And then we have seen here in Oyo State where a boy used the uncle and also the father for money rituals. Do you think that social media has a lot of measures contributing to the growing desire for wealth among youth? Can you hear me?
Yes, I lost you for a moment.
Okay, so, I'm saying that.
Please take the question again.
Yeah, I'm saying the rate at which youth are so eager to be wealthy these days is really alarming. And I'm wondering whether there are economic challenges and uncertainty that push these young people into seeking wealth more aggressively in our society today.
I really do not believe that it is about economic challenges. First of all, when we look at the age brackets of those who are involved in this sinister act, they are basically young ones. People who should still be, people who are just leaving secondary schools, people who are just, who should still be in maybe 100 level or 200 level studying one course, one tertiary institution or the other. What economic hardship are they facing? Are they responsible for their own upkeep at this period, at that age? They are parents who are taking up those responsibilities. So I think for me, it is about we have lost value as a society. And it also goes to tell the kind of children that parents are raising nowadays. It's also the attitude again of the parents at home. If a parent feels it is all about material well-being and everything is speaks or says around the child, it's prosperity, how to make money without working, that child has the tendency to develop this kind of attitude and go into this kind of sinister acts. And again, like you mentioned, social media. You see, sometimes I sit and I watch a lot of things on the social media, and I see even our celebrities, what are they promoting? Flaunting of wealth on social media. Somebody who is just 20-something years old, you will hear a small person with big God buying a house, 300 million, 200 million, flaunting it on social media, buying cars, 50 million, 70 million, 100 million, flaunting it on the social media. That is a challenge. The young ones are learning and are picking from all of these things. And then they feel that it is normal. No matter your age, make money. That is what society appreciates. That's what society applauds. Anyhow, make money.
Mr. Boti.
Use Benz. And that is why we need to curtail all of these excesses.
Mr. Boti. You are not far from the truth, talking about how celebrities are flaunting their wealth on social media. But is that an excuse for a young man to use his father and uncle for money rituals and flaunting wealth online? Did they also tell the youth that they are using their parents or anybody at all for money rituals? Is that an excuse for someone to engage in this kind of criminal activities?
It is never an excuse. One is the fact that we are only looking at factors that are driving some of these desires. However, the fact remains that the youth of nowadays have become so lazy, quick money, get rich quick without working, use Benz without having a legal or legitimate source of livelihood. That is one of the challenge. And this challenge can be tied to loss of value in our society. What do we value? What do we appreciate? And when I say loss of value in our society, what are the parents also encouraging? If I have a child of 22 years who does not have a legal means of life, a legitimate source of livelihood, and drives home a car, how do I treat such child? And that's what issues. You discover that most parents welcome such child, embrace them, even go about singing praises of that child. And that is the value we have lost in the society. And that is why we see our young ones going into this sinister side. It is terrible. The fact that, in fact, not even using human being, the fact that you are even engaging a ritual means of making money is repulsive and should be condemned. But because the society seems to be lighter on this issue, the society seems not to frown at it. And that is why we are seeing the proliferation of these acts among our young ones. And we need to reclaim that value. Some of us, we knew how we grew up. Even when our parents do not have, we go about doing menial jobs to support our parents, not thinking of rituals, not thinking of quick money elsewhere. Because we know that there's a certain amount of money you can take home that my mother will welcome you.
Okay,
So that is the
Mr.
kind of
Bossy.
thing that we need to return back to the society. We need to reclaim our value. We need value reorientation on our youth, and that will help.
All right, Mr. Botsy. Now, whenever this issue of criminal activities come to the open, looking at the factors contributing to this, people often start with social media, talking about societal norms. Yes, it is good that you have mentioned family, which is a small unit of the state. And then you also said something that when you were young, you know how you were brought up. And then looking at this generation, that is as though the societal influence is more than that of the family. What do you think that parents should do to be able to inculcate values into their children of nowadays that social media has almost taken over?
Parents have a lot to do. Like you mentioned, you see, nowadays, training goes beyond the kind of trainings we receive at home again. In our days, growing up, there's nothing like social media. You don't even have access to anything. Even television to watch is regulated. But today, you see a child of 16-year-old. It is the father or the mother that will go and buy iPhone and give to the child, and without regulating what the child does on the phone or on the social media. The social media has become a breeding ground for corruption, for parties, and for all manners of criminal acts. As far as, yes, it has its good parts, no doubt. But in the areas of regulating or inculcating good habits, it is not regulated. And the parents nowadays seem to be too busy that they do not even regulate what their children do online. They don't even know. And these are the issues. When parents fail to pay adequate attention to their children, should play more, you do more than just providing child or children with basic needs. It is also about paying attention on them, monitoring them, regulating them, regulating what they do on social media.
All right, so let's look at the next story for today.
We need to do all of this so that we can be able to bring them back and reinculcate the real value that will make them a better person and take them away from this destructive path that many of them are going into. So parents have a lot of role to play. If parents fails in their roles, then the social media will help them, and they will help them by destroying the child, including our societal fabric. And that is one of the issues that needs to be concretely looked at when we want to address this kind of sinister acts in our society.
All right, thank you so much. And then the next story for today is on Nigerian police. Nigerian Police Force Public Relations Officer ACP Oluwayiwa Adejobi has urged Nigerians to restrict bribing police officers at checkpoints rather than just complaining on social media. Responding to reports of police action, Adejobi advised travelers to endure delays instead of paying bribes and then tagging them on the police or the police on social media. He emphasized that the citizens should act wisely and practically to combat corruption. The warning comes as news concerning about police extortion and misconduct, including recent complaints from students in Ebonyi State. Mr. Botsi, false spokesperson has warned Nigerians. Mr. Botsi, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right. And now the false spokesman has warned Nigerians to stop giving bribes to police personnel and then complain to them.
Mm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello?
All right, the force spokesman has warned Nigerians to stop bribing policemen and then coming online to tag them about it. So in other words, they should better endure the delay, yes, because some of them are saying that if you don't give police or some of these personnel on the road, security personnel on them bribe, that they would delay you. So the spokesperson has come up to say, as Nigerians, better endure the delay and not give them bribe instead of coming online to tag them. What do you think? Some of these people might be on an emergency trip and then a policeman stopped them on the road demanding for, they call it offering. At the end of the day, what if you're trying to catch up your flight? So what do you think? Is this the best solution that the spokesperson has given, the force spokesperson has given to Nigerians, that they should rather endure the delay than giving bribe? Yes, we are not saying they should give bribe, but is that the best advice that they should give?
Well, first and foremost, you see, this thing we call corruption is in two ways. If you have penchant for receiving bribe, you are corrupt. And if you also have penchant for giving bribe, but these two things happen under two different contexts. There is a situation where you are being forced to give bribe because you needed to have your way, in terms of maybe you're traveling and you as motorists you are time pressed and you need to get to your destination on time, particularly maybe considering the fact that our roads are not passable when it gets late in the night, and you just want to quickly move, and the policeman or policemen stop you and ask you, okay, bring your particulars, and having checked all of that, they are still finding a way to delay you until you are able to part with something. And it's also a different case where you don't have issue with delay, but because you are not doing the right thing, you just needed to bribe them and have your way. So there are two different contexts.
No, Mr. Botti, hold on. There are Nigerians. They do have their papers complete. They don't have any issue with their vehicles. And then because they have refused to appreciate these police people, they are being delayed by the roadside. That is where the first spokesperson is saying, you better endure the delay. Why should you delay me when I do not have any fault? When I have completed, my papers are complete, and then I do not have any reason to be waiting by the roadside when I'm supposed to catch up something. Why should I wait on the roadside? Is that the best advice? So when you are saying it is two ways, do you also consider those people that have papers?
Exactly, that is the context in which this discussion is being taken now. That it is wrong for police to delay anybody who does not have issue. Not someone who is trying to cut corner or who is just trying to have its way, but someone who presented the newspaper as all it. And for me, for the statement of the police spokesman, for me, I see it as a statement of somebody trying to avoid responsibility or evade its responsibility. And what is the responsibility? The police needs to be trained and retrained. Asking for bribe
this is for the viewers. You can drop it on the comment section. The four spokesman said, if police delayed you on the road, it is better. Interpret here that instead of giving or any security personnel that you see, you come on social media to tag them. You come to complain to them that they're extorting you. The best thing to do is to better endure the delay. And I'm wondering, why should I endure, why should policemen even delay me on the road when I have my papers complete? When I also, like, I know that my vehicle is roadworthy.
Track the perpetrator and will bring the person to justice. So that is for me what the police spokesman should say. Yes, we are not saying people should give bribe, but if they are forcing you to give and you fail to give, we know the kind of humiliation that comes with it, maltreatment that comes with it. Will everybody be willing to endure such and agree to part with the money, the bribe, and go their way? So what the police should do is to regulate their men, regulate its men, caution them, reorientate them, and provide a venue for the public to report such malpractice or such acts on our roads involving men of the Nigerian police. A venue for people to report. So when they know that even if I ask this person to give me bribe, he will still report. You will see that they will desist from collecting bribe or asking for bribe or pressurizing commuters for bribe. And that is what should be done, not during or asking them to endure the delay.
Mr.
It
Boti,
means that you are telling us that you have failed to train your men, and you are still affirming the fact that you have failed to train your men.
you know, when you were talking about to wrap my head around what you were trying to say, because in this story there are to the policemen, Adejobi, that police are extorting them on the road, and because they have refused to pay, they have been delayed. And you are talking about reports. Now people have reported, but the solution to the problem now that they are giving is that better endure delay than bribing the police. How else do you want them to do in a situation that the people involved, the policemen involved in this, have seen that, okay, even if you report me, they are still going to give you this advice? Don't you think they will feel that there is no punishment attached to this, and then I should just go ahead and to do what I'm doing?
And that's exactly one of the points I was making. That rather than the police telling them endure, create an avenue that you know that if people make such reports, know that yes, people report us, they will desist. Is to put in place mechanism to make the police desist from asking for bribe. A channel that will mean or that will show that the police authority does not tolerate such acts. A channel through which erring police officers can be sanctioned or can be punished. So when you have all of this and you make the public know that you have the channels, you have this medium, and if you do it, we will follow up, we will take up the matter, and we will undo the person involved, the police officer involved. Then the people will be willing to pay, to report. And then the police too, because they know that once a report gets to the office, something will happen. They will desist from asking for bribe. And that is what the police concentrate on doing. Create that channel. Discipline erring officers. Show to the public that you are not in support of this kind of acts. But with this kind of statement the police PRO has made, it means that they are in support. That means that the police is free to ask for bribe. But the people is also free either to give or not to give. And we know how these things play out. If you say you are not giving and you are delayed, what happened?
All right.
Economic loss, or maybe the health loss, all of these are challenges that should be addressed.
All right.
But police should go beyond making such statement. That statement is like you are helping the police to evade its responsibility.
Okay, so let me just ask them the question that you've just stated here. According to Mr. Isaac Boti, he's saying that for the first spokesman to come up to say that Nigeria should rather endure delay than paying bribe to policemen, whether this looks like the police do have rights to ask for bribe, so it is left for you to pay or not. Do you think that they are in support of police asking for bribe? All right, let's look at the next story for today. Ibadan lawyer barrister Abiodun Mole has criticized the Federal Road Safety Corps for stopping motorists on state roads in Oyo State, arguing that their jurisdiction is limited to federal highway, citing a recent court of appeal ruling. Mole noted that FRSC operations on state roads are illegal and urged the FRSC to comply with their legal boundaries. He also highlighted similar issues with vehicles inspections officers who are reportedly overstepping authorities by targeting private vehicles. Omole calls for adherence to the rules of law and a proper enforcement of legal boundaries. All right, Mr. Isaac, we have another striking story here. Barrister Obiodun Omole said FRSC do not have the right to stop and check vehicles on township roads. What is your take on this? They do not have, that their jurisdiction ends at federal roads and not township road. Of course, I'm sure you have experienced that before, where I mean, you know, stop and check vehicle, it happens anyway. It can even happen in front of your compound, who knows? And they are saying that a lawyer here said, Omole, that it is illegal for that to take place.
It is not the lawyer that said that. Rather, it is the law. The law does not give the FRC, Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, the right to operate on state roads. They are to operate on federal roads, and that was the interpretation of the law. There was a case in Warri in 2019 where this was applied, and there was another one in 2023 where the ruling was also upheld that federal road safety should only limit their operations to federal roads. Roads in local government areas. They are not talking of the federal roads that cuts. What are they doing here? Why can't they adhere to the provision of the law? The law says you should limit your operation to federal roads. It is only in Abuja that the law says otherwise. Section 299 of the Constitution and Section 13, subsection 1 of the Federal Road Safety Act allows that all roads in Abuja is a federal road, and therefore they can operate any roads in Abuja. What's clear on that? But when it comes to states, their operation is not expected to obstruct or disrupt activities in communities or state roads. No. So the law is right, and what they are expected to do is to abide by that. And that is why, for some of us, you discover that when you're passing through certain states, when motorists see them, they don't stop for them, because they are not in the right place. And instead of continue to create confusion, if they want the federal government to allow them to operate on state roads, then the Constitution needs to be amended. The Road Safety Act needs to be amended. But until that is done, their operation is limited to federal roads, and that is what the law says. And that was the interpretation the court also gave to it on the 2 occasions where their operations were challenged by citizens of this country. And the court upheld that they do not have business on straight roads.
All right, thank you.
And that is what the lawyer is saying. Omole says they to abide by that standard, by that law, the provision of that law, adhere to it, and move the operations away from state roads.
Okay, so dear Nigerians, Barrister Omole has reminded us that the FRSC do not have the authority, they do not have the right to check vehicles on township roads. He said that their jurisdiction is limited to federal highways only. So as a Nigerian, if FRSC stop you, maybe in front of your compound, or along your street, that's your community street, or township roads, according to what is stated here, that maybe you can report to the appropriate authority, because they do not equally have authority to carry out that kind of duty on township roads. Wow. Thank you, Barrister Omole. And thank you so much, Mr. Isaac. It was beautiful having you on the show.
A pleasure.
Well, thank you, our viewers, for joining us. If you miss out, there are platforms for you to follow. Join us on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. I am Imaklata Irikana. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Good afternoon.